comfort, values, and beliefs.
Thank God is fabulous.
What is cancer? What is your perception of cancer?
Well, today our guest will be sharing her story on living with cancer.
Thank God is fabulous.
Friendship. What is a true friend? He's my friend. She's my friend. Can a male and a female be true friends?
What are the benefits of friendship? Are there true friends with benefits or not? How do you know somebody is a friend? What are the criteria? What are the requirements to have a friend?
Thank
God is fabulous.
Well, today we are going to be talking about career choices.
Do you make career choices based on your habits, or things you love, or what's trending, or what would be your livelihood?
Is it going to be vocational, or is it going to be higher education? What's your choice? It doesn't matter what you're going through
Or what you have been through. Thank God is fabulous. I'm Welda Paley.
And I'm Fasia Hilton.
Welcome.
Thank God is fabulous.
Male nurses.
Patient comfort, values, and beliefs.
Thank God is fabulous. What is cancer? What is your perception of cancer?
Well, today our guest will be sharing her story on living with cancer.
Thank God is fabulous.
Friendship. What is a true friend? He's my friend. She's my friend. Can a male and a female be true friends?
What are the benefits of friendship? Are there true friends with benefits or not? How do you know somebody is a friend? What are the criteria? What are the requirements to have a friend?
Thank
God is fabulous.
Well, today we are going to be talking about career choices.
Do you make career choices based on your habits, or things you love, or what's trending, or what would be your livelihood?
Is it going to be vocational, or is it going to be higher education? What's your choice? It doesn't matter what you're going through
Or what you have been through. Thank God is fabulous. I'm Welda Paley.
And I'm Fasia Hilton.
Welcome.
Thank God is fabulous.
Male nurses.
Patient comfort, values, and beliefs.
Thank God is fabulous. What is cancer? What is your perception of cancer?
Well, today our guest will be sharing her story on living with cancer.
Thank God is fabulous.
Friendship. What is a true friend? He's my friend. She's my friend. Can a male and a female be true friends?
What are the benefits of friendship? Are there true friends with benefits or not? How do you know somebody is a friend? What are the criteria? What are the requirements to have a friend.
Thank
God is fabulous.
Well, today we are going to be talking about career choices.
Do you make career choices based on your habits, or things you love, or what's trending, or what would be your livelihood?
Is it going to be vocational, or is it going to be higher education? What's your choice?
What did I put the logo in here?
Is it coming on too?
No.
Are you using sugar?
No. Let's see that. All right, wait a minute now. It's our background. Why did I choose the background? Then God is fabulous. Another fabulous evening. So today is a continuation of last week, Friday. Last week, we were able to set the stage for you. We were able to tell you about cancer, how you can get it, how it starts in the cell, and everything we think you should know about cancer. What foods you can eat to help you build up your body to fight cancer. What are some of the things that in our environment that cause cancer? So today we have three beautiful, amazing women who's going to tell you about their journey and their encounter with cancer. But through it all, we always say it doesn't matter what you are going through.
Thank God
It's fabulous.
You always have to praise the Lord no matter what. He says, in all things, give him praise. So today, as my co-host said, we are doing a continuation of the show, the series on cancer, and just bringing awareness to cancer. As we said in the first episode, that cancer is not voodoo. I'm referring to our African population, and we have these three beautiful women that will tell their stories, and I hope you will learn from it and also get your physicals and get screened.
Yep. So with no further ado, because we really want to give them the opportunity tonight to set some things clear for some people who have had doubts. Those who think that this is witchcraft, somebody threw cancer on me. No. We said no. We said it doesn't work that way. So tonight we want to hear for themselves. The first person I'm going to be bringing in studio is Mistress Gloria Smart Nangawolo.
Yes, and before we bring our guest, we will introduce ourselves again, although you guys know us. But I am Fasia Hilton.
And I am Welda Paley.
And thank God
it's always fabulous. All right, Sis Gloria, we have you live in studio. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you for having me. My name is Gloria Smart, and I live in Columbus, Ohio. I can say I'm a survivor.
All right, look, I'm telling you, I know this lady the whole time she was going through this, and if she didn't tell you, you would never believe her. So tonight she's here to tell you in her own words her journey with cancer. Let me bring on our second guest tonight. Is Miss Vicki Webb Brown.
So Vicki Brown is a dear friend of mine, a dear sister of mine as well. Her daughter and my daughter went to the same school together, and they played basketball and AAU basketball together as well. So we know each other very well. And when I saw her story on Facebook, about her having cancer, at first it took me aback. I thought it was one of those posts that at the bottom it would say, "Oh, just a joke, please share." But then when I saw that she had pictures of her in the hospital gown, I said, "No, this has to be true." And I called her, and that's when she told me her story, and hence here she is. So Vicky, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Vicki Brown. I live in Indianapolis, and Facia's amazing. She's an amazing woman. So I was honored when she asked me to participate.
All right. Thank you so much for being here tonight, Vicky. Our next studio guest tonight is Olivia Anderson. Olivia, she was meant to be on this show tonight because the encounter and how we came in contact with her was just only God could have orchestrated that movement. So tonight I'm going to bring Olivia in studio. Olivia, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Olivia Anderson. I live in South Dakota. I was introduced by you by a friend whom she and I has been knowing each other for a long time. And I spoke to you yesterday. You called me and said, I saw your story. Can you tell me a little more about what's been going on?
Thank you so much for being here tonight to share more light, educate somebody else, and help somebody else. So at this time, we're going to start with you, Sis Gloria. Please tell us your journey.
Okay, hi viewers. As I said, my name is Gloria Smart. Okay, my journey started in 2017, and I went to Liberia in 2017. And as a matter of fact, before I even left, I, had on my left side, especially, I was experiencing some pains on my left hip, and every now and then it got severe. It would really, I would really be in pain, and then maybe after taking a couple of Tylenol or so, it was ease for maybe 1 or 2 days. And I continued because, us Liberians, we like to diagnose ourselves. We like to do our own self-medicating and everything. So I continued that. And I went to Liberia in June of 2017 and got back in July. So I was there for about a month. So when I came back, it continued. So, and I kept on doing the same thing. But then afterwards, it didn't just stop with the hip pain. It started with my lower back. And then all of a sudden, after 1 or 2 months, I started bleeding to my nostrils, and then I'm like, because this is not normal, and this, I've never experienced this. So every morning, like when I go to brush my teeth or something and I hang my head over the sink, I'm gushing blood to my nostrils. And I'm like, this is serious. I don't know what this is, but this is serious. So right then and there, I called my primary doctor. When I called my primary doctor, before I got to go to her, I had an appointment with my respiratory specialist, my doctor. So I went and I told him the same thing that was happening. And right off the back, he didn't hesitate. He just gave me a referral and said to go to the James and take that referral. In fact, he just sent it and said for me to go to the James and go to meet an oncologist. But it didn't click to me. I'm like, okay, it really didn't, resonate. So the day of the appointment, I went down to the James, which is a cancer hospital. Before it kind of hit me, I'm like, oh, okay, this is the cancer hospital. So I went and I saw the doctor, the oncologist. So she recommended a couple of tests and blood work and what have you, and told me in a couple of days I will be hearing back from them. So in a couple of days, she told me to go back to see her. And this I did. I went and saw her. And when I got there that morning, and she said to me, we have to have a talk. And I'm like, okay. So we're in the office, my husband and I. He went with me. So we in her office and in the room. And she said, she as they usually do, go around, go around, go around. And then she said to me, I'm sorry to let you know that you have cancer. I'm like, huh? He said, you have cancer. Yeah, and the test we did, and this and that, and this came back positive, this came back positive, this came back. I'm like, huh? Can you break it down? I don't know what simpler way she could have broken it down, but okay, can you break it down a little more? And she said, you have a type of cancer called multiple myeloma. I said, huh? What is that? Can you explain it in English? Because I don't know. And then she went on, I was kind of being humorous, but then she explained what this whole multiple myeloma was. A cancer of the blood, it affect your bones, it affect, and I mean, I was dumb, I was numb, anything you could have called it, because from all of a sudden, from nowhere, here I am being diagnosed with cancer. So, I mean, I sat in that office for I don't know how many minutes, like couldn't say a word, couldn't think straight. All I did was, in fact, I started to cry, and then something hit me and said, what the heck you crying for? It's like, what the heck you crying for? And she said, oh, take as long as you want, take as much time as you want. When you're ready to talk, then we can continue. I'm like, continue. She said, you sure? I said, yes. Just continue. I'm okay. And she went on explaining what multiple myeloma was, because I've never heard of that type of cancer. And told me, oh, you have to start chemo right away. Luckily for you, you came in you're at stage 2 right now. I hope you had come sooner, but you're just, entering stage 2. So, I mean, we can try to beat it. We can try. You have to do the treatment, and we can try to beat it. So she say, are you ready to do this? I said, yeah, I'm ready. So we the next week, I started doing chemo. I did chemo for 2 years at the James. Every Wednesday, I did chemo. I went for chemo for 2 years, from 2017 to 18 through 19. I was doing chemo. So, 2019 into 2020, they said to me, well, we see that everything is stable. There's nothing new. There's nothing, there's nothing to alarm us. But you just have to continue. So I did it. And then last year, they told me oh, you, in fact, when I got to, it was not the 5 years. What they told me, like, okay, between your date of diagnosis up until 5 years are your very critical time, I would say. Anything could go wrong, anything um, could happen in those 5 years. I'm like, okay. So after 5 years, what happens? They said we're not giving you like 100% surety, but then 5 years, that means you stepping out of the woods. You have gone to a place where um, you can, who won't say completely cancer free, but I mean, you have gotten to that place. So I say, okay. So last year November, um, I was told November, I was told that I was cancer free last year November. That after the 5 years and after all the treatments, chemo and whatever preventative treatments, I was cancer free, even though I'm still on preventative treatment. So, but what really gave me the strength and the belief that I could go through this was I would first of all say my faith in God, my trust in God, because I'm not saying I'm holy, but my belief in God and the strength that I had, the support from my husband, my children, my siblings, and friends. Even though there were not many people in the community who knew I was going through this, because I didn't want that pity party. That and the minute somebody sees you outside, like, oh, I heard you got cancer. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, I didn't want that, because if I had started that, it would be like, everybody waiting for somebody to call me and say, oh, you want me to do this? No, I did everything myself. I drove myself to chemo every week. I did my own shopping. I did shopping. Went to any store I wanted. I did whatever I wanted to do. I did my house chores, and I mean, you name it, what have you. Sometimes when there were gatherings in the community, I attended. The ones I could, I attended, and hardly anybody knew in the community that I was going through that, because I didn't bring it out as a means of sympathy. I didn't want people hovering around me, and even my family. And most of them didn't know. It was only certain, and I told them, this is not anything I don't want it, all over the place. Let me do what I have to do. If God forbid, if we get to the place where, it's getting worse, okay, then we can let people know. But as far as I know, I'm doing what I have to do. So that's how I went through it. And when people heard it, everybody was surprised. Like, you had cancer? You have cancer? I'm like, yeah. But how you managed? Because we saw you. Yes. I just decided to, because if you give in to these things, they tend to overpower. They overpower you, and your will, your belief, your strength, and you become overwhelmed with, maybe I would die, or maybe, and maybe, and maybe. And I even have some extended in-laws or whatever calling my husband and say, oh, send her to Liberia. We can carry her to the medicine man, and we know one powerful medicine man. What medicine man? Medicine man for what? So when he told me that, I said, good, you didn't tell me, because I'm going to tell you, okay, you go, let me take you to the medicine man, because I'll be here. I'm not going to no medicine man because nobody did anything to me. So for us Africans, especially Liberians who have that belief, if the doctor diagnosed you with cancer and you say somebody did that to you, or because you visited home and you're trying to invest or you're trying to do something, do a project back home, and you come and probably you feel sick and you go to the hospital and the doctor said, oh, you have cancer, and then the next thing is gonna be, oh, they threw wish on the person. Oh, the person, because the person trying to do this, so the witchcraft and the witchcraft. Cancer is not a witchcraft thing. Cancer is real. We get, those are us that were unfortunate, or we are unfortunate to go through this experience. It's just something like any other sickness. It's just that, when we hear the word cancer, it frightens you to the core. To be frank with you, I don't care how strong you are, how strong willpower you have. You hear that word cancer for either you or any relative, it shakes you up. So I would say, especially for us women, know your body. Know your body, because if you know what happens within your body, and something strange is developing, and something strange is happening to you, you be like, oh no, okay, this is not ordinary. This is not real. This doesn't happen to me. I have not experienced this. Oh, let me call my doctor. Never be afraid to visit your doctor, to visit your doctor office. Never be afraid to call. I don't care what time of the day, month, year it is. Call your doctor if you notice there's something strange going on with you. Call them. Call your doctor, any one of them. Because even if you dial the wrong one, I mean, not wrong one, but the one you shouldn't be calling for that, they will say, okay, call you. Do you have this kind of doctor? Yes. Okay, call them. So that's how I got diagnosed, by calling my primary and then my respiratory doctor, and and I finally got to be referred, and that's how I got diagnosed. And believe you me, it was a struggle. I won't say it was all butter and bread. It was a struggle, because some days when you have gone and done that chemo, I mean, you don't even want to look at your mama. You don't. And some days, even when you don't go to get that chemo, you're lying in bed, you don't even want to put your feet on the floor. You just want to be there and just, don't be bothered. And that's what I really didn't, explain to anyone or everybody, because some days you don't want to be bothered, some days you don't want to eat. And that's the thing, your appetite is dead when you're doing that chemo. It's like when you're eating food. I mean, it was for me, because when you're eating food, it's like you're eating cardboard. So I really didn't care about food. And your energy level is down to zero. I can say you hardly want to move. Sometimes you don't want to do anything. So we, especially women, I'm not excluding men, but we women especially, let us pay attention to our bodies. You go to the doctor, your oncologist, whatever he or she tells you, I mean, be serious about it. Don't skip your medications, your chemo, your radiation, whatever it is, and just leave the rest in God's hands. So I stop for now.
Thank you so much, Sis Gloria. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. If you did not explain it, we will never know. But thank God for your courage, your strength, your resilience, just to go through it and be able to tell somebody about it. Thank you so much. We still got more questions for you, so please stay put. Right now, we'll go to Sis Vicky. We want to hear her story, her journey with cancer.
Well, it wasn't, I didn't have any symptoms. I wasn't in any pain. I'm pretty healthy on a normal basis. It was my normal yearly mammogram. I've had them every year since I was 40, and I am 52, will be 53 in a couple months. And every year I go get them. It's not like it's like a routine. But the only thing different last year in 2022 is I got it in October and not November. I normally get it in November, but my husband and I were going on vacation in November for Thanksgiving, so I got it a month early on September 29th. September 28th, I got my mammogram, and on that Monday, I get a call, and she said, well, we need you to come back because we see something in your right breast. So we're going to do an ultrasound on Friday. Okay, that's fine. I've done that. It's not my first rodeo. I go back on Friday and I get an ultrasound this time on both breasts. And then on the following Monday, on October 3rd, she called me back and she said, she called me back. I'm sorry, before this, she called me back and she said, well, we see something. It's not your right breast, it's your left. So what we're going to do is going to do a biopsy on your left breast. I was like, well, okay. What does that entail? And she's like, well, she told me. And I was like, okay. And we just want to see what's going on. And that was on a Thursday. The following Monday on October 3rd, I was in office at my job and I got a call. And she said, are you in office? And I said, I am. She said, well, I kind of suggest you maybe want to go away from your team and go somewhere where we can talk. And I was like, oh my God, what does that mean? So I was like, you only get in trouble when someone tell you to go away from where you are. And so I get up and I go into a conference room and she says, Vicki, you have such a good spirit. And I was like, well, thank you. What does that got to do with this conversation? She said, well, I have to tell you, you have breast cancer.
Wow.
I said, I have what? Me? And she said, yes, you have breast cancer. And it's on surface and we need to get it out ASAP. And I'm sitting there in the conference room and I'm thinking to myself, this has got to be a joke. She did not just tell me that. So she said, are you you're able to go home? And I said, yeah. So I go out to my desk and I get my items. And one of my team members said, Ms. Vicki, are you okay? She said, you seen a ghost. And I said, honey, I think I did. So I get into my truck and I start to drive. And my husband owns Freightliners, and he was out getting one of his Freightliners ready to be taken out on the road. And I pull up in front of him, and he knew what was going on. And I pulled up in front of him, and tears came in his eyes. And he says, what did they tell you? Mm. And then they said, I have breast cancer. And he's like, we got this. He said, we got this. He said, no, we're not worried. We're going to do whatever is needed to do to make this happen. Mm-hmm. And I was like, but I could die. And he says, no, you're not going to die. He says, because we're going to do whatever they tell us to do. So the next day I had to go in to the plastic surgeon. This is how quick it was. October 3rd, they told me October 4th, I'm meeting my plastic surgeon, Dr. Turner. And she said, well, Vicki, you are right now a stage 1, but it's on surface. And what that means is it's on the surface of your tissues that it can move. So if you had, she said, I'm going to use an example. Say if you were not a faithful mammogram, getting your mammograms every year, and you waited to next year, it could have went into your lymph nodes.
Oh, wow.
But because you are faithful about coming to get your mammograms, it was caught. And she said, so what we're going to do is we're going to give you a reduction, and we're going to take 3 of your lymph nodes to make sure that it did not drain into your lymph nodes. And I was like, okay. And I said, so, and I'm thinking they're going to give me like 6 months. You know how, you get a diagnosis, She says, no, we're looking at like November 11th to have your surgery.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, November 11th, like in a couple of weeks. And she said, yes. I was like, okay. So I am very close to my daughter, and my daughter is a sophomore at Southern Illinois in Carbondale, Illinois. She plays basketball. She's on a scholarship there. Well, she calls me that night, and I didn't answer my phone, which I didn't know what to say to her. I mean, what do you tell your only child? You have breast cancer, and you don't know what's gonna happen. So I didn't talk to her that day. And we kind of talked, and she was like, Mom, why are you working from home? I thought you liked in the office. And I said, well, I'm at home because it's just, I just read, they suggested me to work at home. Well, technically I worked at home because I was at the breast cancer center every other day to get tested and things like that. Well, on October 30th, she calls me and she's crying. And I said, what happened, Princess? What's wrong? She said, do you have cancer or something?
Oh.
I said, what? And she said, do you have cancer or something? And I said, Princess, let me call you back. She says, don't hang up. She said, I've been watching your 360 and you're at the breast cancer center in Eskenazi like 2 or 3 times a week. Why?
Oh, wow. Busted.
Yeah. And so I told her, and she said, so why did you wait so long to tell me? I said, because I didn't want you to worry. And she says, well, I worried because I can tell in your how you were doing things, how you're usually talking, you're usually at the gym. You didn't do it. You stopped doing everything. And I knew there's something had to be wrong. And I said, well, I had went into like a depression because I am a pretty healthy person. And I didn't know I was depressed. I thought I was dealing with this. Well, I had surgery. And they said I didn't have to have chemo. I had to have 5 weeks of intensive radiation. Well, I was listening to the nice lady before me was talking about how tired and how she felt after chemo. Well, radiation is because they're burning you. And mine started in January. And my last radiation appointment was the 19th of February of this year. That's how early mine is. And when I say that I was burnt, the color of my skin, of my shirt, is actually the color of my breast on my left side and my back right now. Because I have a 3rd-degree burn from radiation. I have to tell you that I am a very happy person. And I'm like this. I didn't tell anybody who knew it was my husband, my daughter, and my 3 sisters. I didn't tell any friends, any family, because I didn't want them to ask me how I'm doing. Because at that point, I didn't know how I was doing.
Yes.
I was scared. I felt defeated. But one thing that I did do in that 6 months is I am a spiritual person, but I have now become a more spiritual person. I read my Bible every day. Every day, I just opened verse. I read. I took notes and I read. And that's how I got through what all this happened. I go back to the doctor. They give me, after I hit radiation, after I got done with radiation, they gave me tamoxifen. That is a hormone replacement.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I'm allergic to tamoxifen. So I'm allergic to it. So I can't take it. I'm 52 years old. I have not been, I'm pre-menopausal. Haven't started menopause. So now I have to get a shot every Wednesday to start me to go into menopause. Until then, because I can't take hormone pills that's going to prevent this cancer from coming back, I have to have this shot. It doesn't hurt, but it takes away my security because they tell me that you have to have this shot. Now, you're only a stage 1B, and it was unsurfaced. It wasn't in your lymph nodes, but because you're not able to take the hormone replacement and you have not started menopause, we have to jumpstart it. So I have to take a shot every Wednesday. I took it this Wednesday was my first. I'll take it next Wednesday and the Wednesday after that. And then I have to wait 30 days and then take it again. Well, I'm not going to have a normal menopause because they said, you know how you gradually go into menopause? I'm not going to gradually go into menopause. I'm going to go right into the hot flashes, the depression, the mood swings. But for me to stay alive, I'll do whatever they ask me to do. It's a battle. It's scary. But do I think this is going to take me out? It's not, because God got bigger and better things for me.
You can say that again.
Yeah.
But I felt bad because when Facia reached out to me, because after I got done with radiation, I finally posted, because I had told it, I'm from Kansas City and I live in Indianapolis and I've been here 23 years. Nobody, and I mean not a soul in my family knew that I had breast cancer. My daughter's team only knew that I had breast cancer because they couldn't understand. Well, Tierney, why is your mom not at your games and your dad is always here? And she finally told them, because I told her I didn't want the sympathy. I didn't want them to feel like, well, and I was even told just the other day, just Tuesday at work, Vicki, you don't look like you have cancer. I don't know what cancer looks like.
I
but I know
swear
what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I felt really bad when I hadn't told anybody, but I didn't tell anybody because I felt like that was been a burden more on me trying to recover. But
Right.
Facia was the first person. I hit submit and she's calling. I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. But I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew. None of my friends here in Indy knew. And until I posted it a couple weeks ago. I went through it just with my husband, who just put his trucks out there and his drivers, and he stayed home with me the entire time. And my daughter and my 3 sisters. Nobody knew. I didn't tell anybody. And just one thing about when you have breast cancer, I didn't have any symptoms. I didn't have soreness. I didn't have pain. I was a 40 double D. I'm now a 38C, but I had no pain. I had nothing, no signs. So that's one thing that I can tell our women. You don't have to have a sign to have breast cancer. It could be dormant on top of your breast. It could just be sitting there. It could just be marinating. And we don't know, because she told me, she said, Vicki, I'm going to tell you, if you hadn't came this year, the way it was sitting dormant on your surface, you may be in a different place next year if you would have waited. Well, by the grace of God, I'm that person that if I think I got a cold, I'm going to the doctor. If my toe hurt, I want you to check it out. It don't look right. I need you to check me.
Right.
I want to live. So for the young women, if you're 40 and over, get that mammogram done. They're free. They're free. If you feel a pain, go to your primary doctor, say, and you're under 40, I feel something. Let them get you a mammogram so it can be you. After 40, they're free. This saves lives. It truly saves lives. And I'm a true believer. If it's by the grace of God, I'm here. I'm here. I'm happy. I went back to the gym, and that was my most important thing. I can't lift weights for 6 months, but I feel good. I do. I just know that it's scary because I haven't even been for my mammogram or my sonogram to tell me where I'm at now because it's so new. So am I cancer free? Based on my surgery, I am. And by my mind and by my spiritual belief, I am cancer free. But yes. I don't have a ultrasound until April 28th to find out if I am still cancer free. But I know I am. They're going to tell me I am, and I'm going to go on with my life.
Yes,
And-
by the words of your mouth and your testimony, you will overcome.
Yeah.
You know, the C word, as everyone have said, you know, in the story, it's very
You're
scary.
gonna mess up the place on the mic.
It is very, no, it's okay, Vicky. It's very, very scary. And cancer is real.
Yeah.
It can happen anytime. Anytime. I mean, here's a young lady, a young woman that have been doing her screening
Yep.
as she is supposed to.
Yep.
Okay. But thank God
It's
that
fabulous.
it's fabulous. And thank God that it was found early and they could do something about it. So we cannot stress this enough. Please get your checkups,
Mhm.
get your screenings.
Sure.
And this is for both men and women. We have one of the best healthcare system in the world. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, it's costly, but if you have insurance, even if you don't have insurance, most places you can have free screenings. Please get your screening. So we will go to our next
Yes.
guest, Miss Olivia Anderson. Olivia, I saw her story last night in our Indiana Association, Liberian Association of Indiana, LAI's chat room. And as I read it, it struck a chord. And so the friend that posted the story, I messaged her right away. And I mean, she was so, open to sharing her friend's story with me. And she called her and gave her my number and gave me her number. So I was able to talk to her last night. So Olivia Anderson, welcome to Thank God It's Fabulous. We will let
Thank
you
you
introduce
for having me. My story is a bit complicated, but the amazing part about it, people wonder why I'm still full of enthusiastic. It just growing up, I always smile. It was very hard for my smile to fade away, and it was very hard for me to cry. And it's still very hard for me to cry over a pain because I just believe crying allow the enemy to see your downfall or to see how weak you are. So I have not cried enough through this journey. And I think it's okay. Or maybe I need to cry. I don't know. But my story started in 2019. In 2019, I had my daughter in 2018, my daughter Miracle. And my breasts were just enlarged. And I said, oh, okay, maybe it's from the pregnancy, maybe it'll go away. So I went in for or and asked them if they can give me birth control. And at that time, I could not have the Mirena birth control because my body rejected it the first time they gave it to me. So I asked them, can you give me something that has no hormones? And the only thing there was one medication. It was very good with your body. So that was what I knew I was going for into the doctor. But when I got there, at my surprise, I received a mammogram. And when I reached out to the doctor and asked them why my something is wrong with me, my breast is so enlarged and I cannot stop bleeding since you guys gave me the birth control. So I want to make an appointment to come in and remove it. And they said, let's try giving you some medication to stop the bleeding. I took that medication and still I was still bleeding. For months, I'm still bleeding. And I said, well, I need to take it out. I don't want it anymore. So I went into the doctor to take it out. And I told the doctor, I said, before I went into the doctor, my left breast was very enlarged than the right one. And I just, in my head, I had no symptoms. I was not sick, but I kept my breast was very big and it looked like I was pregnant, and I was so confused why, I was like, I'm not pregnant, I'm not with anyone, so why do I look like this? And I went into the doctor and I told her about my breast, and I said, can you look at my breast for me? At that time, it was my OB that I went into for them to remove the birth control. And I said, can you look at my breast for me? And she took a look at it. At that time, my breast was hard like a football. It was big like a football. I mean, it was literally hard like rock and big like a football.
Mhm.
And it was painful. I could not even put my left arm down properly. So she took a look at it, and right there, she sent me downstairs to get screening. She said, I'm going to send you for some tests. And I said, okay. But my mind was not on cancer at all. Like, it didn't even come to my mind. So I went downstairs, they did screening, and then she scheduled me. She said, I want you to go for a mammogram, and I want you to do a biopsy. And I was like, I had no idea what that was at that time. I knew about cancer, seeing it on TV, but I did not know all those tests, what it meant, and what was going to do to detect what. I didn't know what it was at all because I was not educated at all on breast cancer or on any kind of cancer because it did not run in my family. So I did not take the time to educate myself on that. I was very, very, very naive to cancer. And so when she sent me for that, coming home, I called my friend and I told her, I said, my breast is so enlarged and they sent me for all this tests. Oh man, they better don't tell me my breast is something is wrong with it and then they have to cut it because I'm ready gonna fight with those doctors. And we just laughed over that. And I went home, I checked my breast and it was milk, like that first kind of milk that comes out when you first have a child, yellow. But then on the tissue, there was blood mixed with it. So, but I was like, maybe it's just some kind of infection. And that was it. So they did the test. That same September, they did the test. She said, this is going to take 3 days. And I said, okay. But in 2 days, they called me and I was at my friend's house. And she said, are you able to talk? I said, yeah, I'm just away at my friend's house. And she said, we did your test and we got some result. And I was like, okay, so what is it? She was like, well, I'm sorry, but you have what we call a stage 3 inflammatory um HER2 positive breast cancer. And I said, you probably got my test mixed up with someone else because we don't have cancer in my family. And she said, well, the form of cancer do you have? This does not come from your family. It isn't genetic. It acts just like your body, so it's very hard to detect. But it is non-stage 3 and it's very aggressive. So we have to do chemo right away. And I said, what is that? And she was like, chemo is treatment that we gave you. It will help suppress the cancer from growing. And I was like, okay, whatever you say. So I hung up the phone and told my friend I was coming back. I got in my car. I drove to the park and I sat there and I started thinking about it. Then I started looking on the phone and looking at other cancer and seeing pictures. So I was so devastated and emotional, but I did not cry. I just sat there in my car listening to gospel music and was looking straight ahead and right there I saw it was in December 2019. I saw a reindeer came out the bushes and then the voice just said to me, if I can take care of them, what makes you think I cannot take care of you? And I said, and I look at again at the reindeer, and the voice said, look, he's eating. I can take care of him. So therefore, I can take care of you. So I pick up myself. I call. I think the first person I called was a church member from my church, and I told her what the doctor said. And I began calling people and telling them that was close to me. I called my mom. I called my uncle in New York and I told him what the doctor said, and told them they said that I have to start treatment right away. I went home, I thought about it, I prayed about it. I didn't cry. I still didn't cry until I decided to come out and tell my Facebook fans and followers, um and tell them what has occurred over the weeks that I've been away from Facebook. And that's when I began to cry and I told them that my only wishes is, because my thought was, okay, I'm going to die. Cancer can kill, so I'm going to die, because I wasn't aware on any facts. So that was my only thought. So I became to cry and I told them, and I said my only wishes was for have someone to take care of my kids, was for me to be here long enough for my children. I prayed about it. I asked God to give me the strength to go on. I started, I got a lawyer. I started making my will, um, and just making plans and writing things down for my children. That 2 weeks later, I started the treatment for the breast cancer, which was very aggressive. I did 6 months of chemo. Was very rough, was very difficult. I had a home care taking care of me because I was in a bad shape. The medication hurts so bad, it severe, caused me severe pain to my stomach. I could not eat. Food did not taste like food. Water tasted like metal. My mouth tasted like metal, and my bones hurt so bad. So I most time I was in the house crying, and I only had an aid for 2 hours. After 2 hours, I was just with me and my children. And my daughter, whom was under one at that time, almost one, an organization arranged for my kids to go be placed with a family, a Christian-based home family. So my daughter was with that family. For that time, I was going through treatment, and she could come to me whenever I felt I was strong enough to have her. She came a day and then went back. So I was very lucky to have those family. My son, I told them at that time my son was 5, so I told them that my son could stay with me because it's just me and my children, and I had no husband. I have no husband now. um, and I wasn't in a relationship. I was in a relationship before I started, but when I started the treatment and the partner saw how sick I were, he walked away. But I didn't focus on that part of my healing because it wasn't relevant to me at that time. The only thing was my focus was to get better and stay here for my children. So I went on with chemo. After chemo, they did they decided to do the mastectomy. So they asked me if I wanted to keep the right breast, and I told them no. I didn't want to keep the right breast. So I did a double mastectomy um after I was done with chemo. And I had a month to heal after that. Then I had radiation. My radiation was every day, Monday to Friday, for 2 months. And the radiation hurt. It was painful. I looked like someone wasted hot oil on me. I had to walk around with my arms like this all the time. And I was burnt. I was like burnt all the way, even in my back, uncomfortable to sleep. And it was rough. It was rough. There was days I would the problem with the treatment is that it gave me multiple diarrhea. Multiple diarrhea I would have a day. I would have more than 15 diarrhea in a day. And one time I remember I tried to go to the bathroom and I couldn't make it. All my dignity went down to zero because I was 100% and more. I could go to work full time, 2 job, a part-time job, come home, cook, clean up. I had all that energy. But when I started chemo, my energy went down to zero. I could not do anything for myself. I could not even give myself a cup of water. I was so weak. I was not able to walk. It played a lot with my limp. I had to hold on to someone to walk. Um, and then everything was so difficult and taking care of myself. I didn't have anyone coming to keep my company or to talk to, because all the friends that I had at that time, for some reason, when I got sick, they disappeared. They disappeared. There was no one to cook and bring me food. I had one friend, but she was away to another state going to school. And most time I did not want to be on the phone. You don't want to hear the phone. My phone was always on silent, because you don't want anyone around you. But I felt lonely. I felt lonely. I felt left out, because there was no one calling to check on me. There was no one calling to ask me how I was doing. There was no one calling to check on my children. So I felt like everyone forgot about me and no one cared. My family, some member of my family will call, but when they call, some of them I did not like picking up their calls, because when they call, they will say, well, we think you should go, I think you should go to Africa and go to this praying lady. She's very good. And I did not want to hear that, because before I started treatment, I prayed and God told me he was going to take care of me through it. So I needed to go through that treatment, even though they felt it was voodoo, someone threw voodoo on me. Um, I just pray about it. I said, well, if they threw voodoo on me, then God is going to take care of it, because this is what God wants me to do. I went on home most time by myself. There was one older lady that always came by to help me. Um, when I had a double mastectomy, my mom came from New Jersey and she stayed with me for a month. After that, my other aunt from Georgia came and took over, so that I can learn how to bathe myself again, learn how to do things. Um, and the older lady would cook me food and bring it. And that was the support I had, the support from few family that called on the phone. And my only encouragement was coming on live on Facebook every time I went for treatment, because I had treatment every 3 weeks. I had chemo. So every time I went for chemo, I decided to uplift myself by coming on Facebook and sharing my story and giving tips about cancer and encouraging people to go get tested, encouraging people to pay attention to the body, and not sit home and believe it is voodoo and don't get treatment. Even if they feel that this is spiritual, they can pray about it and leave the rest to God and still go and get care. So that's what I was doing every 3 weeks, coming on live, giving encouraging words, and those people on Facebook became angels. They called me and they check on me and they send me prayer, they pray along with me. So I got a lot of motivation from on Facebook, because I was lonely throughout. I felt like I had no family support, because I only got phone calls from few family members. um and I went through the surgery with church members being there, with church members taking me for surgery, taking me for doctor appointment, because I had no one here to do it for me. I had to rely on my church. Um, and they was a very big help to me, most time, all the time. When I went for chemo, there's a church member that comes along with me for chemo, and she sat there and kept my company. So I went through the fight. I crossed that Red Sea and I went in the storm and fought all everything you could think about. And I was done with chemo, but I needed to do one drugs, which I was doing just to maintain things so that the cells does not grow back. I did that until October of 2020. I was done with that. So to celebrate um my things, to celebrate my life, the National Cancer Society did a story on me. I gave them the permission to share my story, just to bring light to the illness, to encourage other women around, to encourage men as well, because men do get breast cancer, especially in the Black community where the awareness is so low. We are not educated on breast cancer if it's not in our family, if it's not affecting us. So they were able to do that piece on me, and after that, I decided to go to West Africa, Liberia, to give back and tell God thank you for what He has done for me, and tell Him thank you for the strength, for the life. Because had it not been for God, I don't know where I was going to be. Because my only support and I relied, it was on God. I relied on God for everything. I pray, and when I had a question, I prayed to Him and waited for answer, because I didn't want to be misled. I didn't want someone telling me, go to a voodoo doctor, go here. And a lot of my family was against. I felt they did not call me because I was against what they wanted me to do. I felt like I needed to go and get treatment. Even if it was voodoo, I still needed to get treatment and leave it in God's hand. Um, I won the fight against breast cancer. I went to Africa. I gave back to feeding center and shelters, to children orphanage home. And I came back and I went to some churches to share my testimony. Um, I came back to America on June 22nd. I came back to America 2021. When I got here a week later, I became ill. I went to the hospital and they decided to do my regular checkup, because I did regular checkup every time, every 4 months I did regular checkup. So when I went in for my regular checkup on MRI, they gave me for the CT scan they were doing at that time, they gave me the dye, the CT scan dye, contract dye. So I had a reaction to that. I started having seizure. I could not speak. My tongue, everything, it got swollen, and they were wondering why, because I never did before. So one of the tech in there decided to do an image of my brain. When she did an image of my brain, there they saw the mass on my brain.
Wow.
They took me into the emergency side of the hospital so I can be treated for the reaction. And they told me the doctor was going to come and talk to me because there's a spot on my brain. And I said, okay. Again, I didn't think it was cancer because I had no idea that it was going to move to my brain. The doctor came and he said, well, there's a spot on your brain, but we don't know what it is. We're going to do more tests. And they discharged me from the hospital. Oncology sent me for more tests. I did more tests. After that, they told me, you have what we call stage 4 brain cancer. I'm sorry, but the cancer has moved to the brain. And I said, how? And it said, well, in most people with the form of cancer that you have, the cancer do spread somewhere, whether cancer tends to go up, which is in your brain. It likes to be in there for some reason. We do not know why, but we can do um we can do a surgery to remove the cancer cells. And I said, okay. So I went in. That's August. I went in for the surgery. They did a gamma knife surgery, and it was so uncomfortable, but it was not painful because they numb my whole head, and they had to put a metal over my head and screw and put a screw here and another screw there. So I have 4 screws placed in my head, but it did not go through my scalp, but it went through the skin, but I couldn't feel it. And I was placed in that box like to for them to do the gamma knife, and I was in there for a while, and it was hot, uncomfortable. Sometimes they had to pull me out, give me asthma inhaler because I have asthma, and the surgery was completed. I came home. It was same day. It was a same day surgery, but I had to take precaution. I was on the 72 hours wash. just in case if I was going to have a seizure, or if I was going to have bleeding. So I
Yeah.
had to have someone watch me for 72 hours. And after that, I recovered really good. Really good. God was with me through it all. My recovery went really great. Um I came on Facebook. I encourage everyone. I share my story. And it wasn't a time that I cried about that because I felt like crying on Facebook just, tell people that I'm not strong enough, and I was there to be strong enough for them to encourage them. So I didn't have that time to be emotional, to worry. But after everything, I became, I guess, depressed, which I didn't know the sign of depression. And that's another thing. Depression is very real, and depression does exist, but it is very likely, it is very overlooked in the Black community. And most of the time your family feels like, oh, you don't need to go for counseling because Black people don't do that. Black people don't go for counseling. You just suck it up and go on.
Mhm.
So I was just sucking it up and going on, sucking it up and going on until I became really depressed, and I called the hospital and I said, something wrong with me. I don't know what's going on, but I want to kill myself. I don't want to live, and I just haven't thought of don't wanting to live, but I want to live, and I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. And they brought me in. They gave me some anti-depression medication. I was going on fine. In July, everything was okay. July of 2022, I went to visit a friend. She was having an argument with her mother. She began to beat on her mother. I jumped in and told her that wasn't going to happen while I was there. While I was fighting her, she pushed me by mistake to let go of her. I fell and hit my head.
Wow.
After that, my brain became swollen up. On that Sunday, July 11th, July 10th, at night, I went to bed. I was having a really bad headache. July 11th, the same thing. On the 12th, I called the hospital and I told them what has happened. And they said, go into the hospital. And I did not want to go into the emergency room because I had anxiety about hospital. The moment I enter into a hospital, I start to shake. And the only thought is in my head is dying. Is I'm about to die. I'm about to leave my children. So I didn't want to go there. The headache was so bad at night. I drove myself to the emergency room. I got there. They did some scan and they told me, your brain is swelling up, so we have to admit you. They kept me in the hospital. They did spinal tap to release some pressure off the brain so that I can stop having headache. And I was in the hospital for a while. When I came out, they placed me on serum, and the serum that they placed me on, it made me so big. It made my face, you couldn't even recognize me. It made my muscles in my legs weak. I could not even walk. um and I started doing therapy to learn how to walk again. I started using the walker, so all my self-esteem went down. I could not do anything that I love to do. And I love cooking. I love baking. That is what I love doing. And I do not like sitting in the house at all. But here I were in the house every day, not doing what I love to do. Once again, my children was out with another safe family. Um, and I was in the house alone, depressed and down, until one day I was sitting down and a voice said to me, you've been suffering too long. Why can't you just take a knife and kill yourself? And I started shaking. I called my daughter out the room and I told her to read the Bible to me, read it loud. And I said, louder, louder. But yet the voice kept telling me, you've been suffering too long. Just kill yourself because you are not going to get better. And it said, go and get a knife and just kill yourself. Put your kids in the car and drive off the bridge because you don't want to leave them behind. And I said, no, I don't want to do it. I want to live. And I was crying. I told my daughter, read the Bible line. I took it from her and I started reading it. And I started saying, the Lord is my strength. The Lord is my strength. But yet the voice was so powerful. I called my neighbor, can you take me to the hospital? Something is wrong with me. He was busy. So I called a friend. I said, "Can you drive me to the hospital? Something is wrong." She came, she drove me to the hospital. I could not even sit in the car. I started crying, begging her, and jumping off the seat and said, "Please, I'm beg you, just kill me. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Can you please kill me?" And she's begging me to stop, and I begging her again, "Please take me to the hospital. I don't want to die. I'm so scared. I don't want to leave my children." And I'm just crying and contemplating back and forth. And I reached to the hospital. They gave me a shot. They calmed me down. I went to sleep and they sent me over to the site, the behavior center to get eval. They said because I was having a mental breakdown, and I got eval for all of those things. After that, I came home. I was okay, and a week later, they told me we have to do an open brain surgery because the stereo isn't working and your brain keeps swelling up. So I said, okay, let's do it. I went to the local hospital here and I asked them, give me 3 days so I can pray about it. And they gave me 3 days to pray about it. On the Wednesday, the third day, they came, they said, we want your decision. Where have you decided? And they gave me two options. They said open brain surgery, or we have a medication. We can give it to you. It will release the pressure of your brain. But if you take that medication, you can never have surgery. I said, then I don't want that option because that gave me no options. I'm young. I need to have options. I do not want it.
Yeah.
So the lady came to talk to me again, and I told her, I said, well, I want to do the open brain surgery, but I do not want to have the surgeon. God do not want me to have the surgeon. I'm not comfortable with her. She is not confident in herself, so I don't want it. So they asked her, and she said, I'm scared. I don't know what's going to turn out, so I do not want to do the surgery. And I said, okay, so I'm going to discharge myself. And they said, no, do you know what you're talking about? If you go out there, you can pass out and you can die. And I said, I'm very much aware of that, but I'm going to discharge myself. I don't want to be here. The nurses called, they talked to me, and I said, I want to do this. I don't want to be here anymore because y'all can help me. I do not want to be here. The options you're giving me, I do not want it. And I do not want the surgeon. She's not confident in herself. She do not feel God is performing the surgery. It is her that performing it. Therefore, I do not want her. I discharged. I went to the hospital on that Wednesday. I came home and I asked my neighbor. It was about 10 o'clock at night. I said, can you drive me to Mayo Clinic, which is in Rochester, Minnesota? He drove me to Mayo Clinic. I went straight through the emergency room and I told them what was happening. The Mayo Clinic was packed. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to tell them I'm having a chest pain. So that was what I did. I told them, I said, I'm having a chest pain. And then I listed the other symptoms under it. So right away, they took me in. I didn't have to wait like everyone else. And they ran the test. And the lady said, well, your brain is swelling up, but it's not as bad as the hospital said. And we don't need to do surgery right now, but we can give you some steroid for a couple of days. And I said, no, I cannot be on steroids. Steroid is so dangerous for me. She was like, we would just do it for a little bit until we can decide what to do. So they gave it to me. I rented a hotel. I slept in the hotel that day. Um, the next day was Thanksgiving. Yeah, the next day was Thanksgiving. So I spent my Thanksgiving in the hotel. After that, the neighbor came for me. He brought me home and they called me 2 days later and they said, you have to do open brain surgery. So we want you to come in on Friday. And I said, huh? That's so quick. And they said, yes, we want you to come in on Friday. So I talked to my social worker. She arranged a ride for me. I went to Mayo. I got a hotel. I did a fundraising because I didn't have money to stay in a hotel because I do not work and I'm only get SSI check at once a month, and that was already done. So I decided to bake some meat pie, what the Jamaican would call patties. That's what I decided to make. I baked some meat pie, I cooked some food, and I passed flyers around. And people came, and I told them why I was doing it. They bought a lot of food. I had enough money to pay for the hotel. I paid for the hotel. I stayed there. The next day, I went to the hospital. The older lady called Charlotte, she came there and stayed with me while they prepped me for the surgery. They did the surgery. I had an open brain surgery to remove the tumor that was on the right side of my brain. So I have a big cut behind my head, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. This they decided to send me home. So they said it was going to send me to a nursing home because I needed a lot of recovery. I needed a lot of therapy to get back. And I didn't want to go to a nursing home because I knew I wasn't going to recover as fast as being home. So, but they said that was the option. That was what they needed to do. So they call all the nursing home here in South Dakota, even in Iowa, they call all the nursing home. And 1 second, go see who at the door. And they call everywhere, but everywhere said they did not have a room. And I said, yes, that's what God wanted. God do not want me to go to the nursing home. So they arranged, they arranged me coming home. They provide me the nursing home care at home. I had all the help at home. And I recovered really great from all of that. And after a month later, they told me I had to do chemo, which was to prevent the cancer from growing back or to prevent the tumor from growing back. And I said, why not? I did chemo before, so I felt, I could handle it. I went through that fight, and I'm here, so therefore I can handle it. But it was way beyond my strength. That chemo, it called in HER2. That one is specifically made for the brain. It crosses over and it goes to the brain. It prevents the cancer from in your body in your brain. Um, so I started chemo on the 9th of this month. I did my first chemo. After that, I got very sick. I got very sick with multiple diarrhea, multiple throwing up. I slept with a bucket on my bed because I would throw up twice every hour. I could not walk. I was so weak. So they came, they took me to the hospital, and I was in the hospital for a while. I just came on Wednesday, and they gave me a lot of fluid. They replaced my potassium, my magnesium, my sodium, everything. Again, once again, my kids was away. So I told them in the hospital, I said, I do not want to do any more chemo. If I do this chemo, it's going to kill me. They said, why? And I said, because I want to live. They said, but if you don't do the chemo, you understand you're going to die. I said, well, it is God that decide that. So I do not want to do the chemo. So they came to talk to me, and they said, Olivia, you understand if you don't do the chemo, the cancer can spread. And I say, yes, I understand that. And she said, so if we tell you you have 3 months to live, are you going to choose not to do chemo? I said, if you tell me I have 3 months to live, I'm going to rather live 3 months on sick with my children than live that 3 month away from my children. I said, my goal, and the goal was for you guys to keep me alive with this medication, but this medication is killing me. This medication, I can't do anything for myself. I am so sick to death. So if I do this medication, it is taking me away from my children, and I cannot be with them. And you guys say I have to do this for 6 months. How can I be sick for 6 months while my kids is somewhere else? And my goal is, and I'm fighting for them. So what am I fighting for? And I said, well, if I'm gonna live for 6 months or 1 year, I want to live on sick with my children. I do not want them away from me while I'm sick. I cannot do this chemo. This chemo is too tough. This chemo is too hard. This chemo, it take away my ability to do anything for myself. I am literally dying with this chemo. So the doctor said, okay, you can go home on the 11th. We'll give you another appointment. You can come and we will talk at that time. You will feel much better. You won't be sick. And then we can talk about your illness. Maybe you're going to have a change of mind to do chemo. So I'm waiting for the 11th to go and talk to them and for them to see if I have a change of mind. But I, I I do not feel that the Lord wants me to do this treatment. Um, when God speaks, I listen, and when God speaks, He always have another plan. And I've been battering cancer since 2019, 4 years now, and here I am still going. So therefore, I feel it is not the law or it is not the doctor or my strength that is keeping me going. It is the Lord that is giving me that ability to keep going, especially mentally. Because had it not been for the Lord, I would have killed myself a long time ago. Because through this journey, I have not have a lot of support, especially from family, and that's what breaks my heart because I love my family and I want my family to be there, but I do not feel like my family has been there for me at all, especially knowing that I have 3 children. I do not work. No one knows how my children eat, how they go to school, and I don't even know sometimes, but God always make a way. God always provide because we live on a fixed income. We live on a very I have a car that I have to pay every month and I only get 1,200 from that SSI. And how can I live with that money? But I did not question God. I did not question God. I prayed and I left it in his hand. And that is what my plan is now is to pray and leave it in God's hand because the doctor said, Olivia, the cancer is back, the tumor is back, the swelling is back. So I told them, it's like everything you did for me, it just flew right back into my head. So why should I keep doing this treatment? But I believe that God has erased it all because that Wednesday before I left the hospital, the data, I asked them to do another MRI and they did that. And it said everything has decreased, everything has shrunk. And I said, you just told me everything came back, so it has shrunk. I said, I'm so confused. You guys are making me so confused. They said, yes, everything has shrunk and you are not dying right now, but we just want you to consider hospice because you do not want treatment. But we don't have a prognosis for you right now to say, oh, Olivia, you have 3 months or you have 1 year. We're just gonna keep repeating the scan, and whatever the scan say, that's what we're gonna go by. So I said, okay, I have time, so let me spend that time with my children. We can repeat the scan. When the time comes for me to make another decision, then I will make that decision. But for now, I just want to be on sick and do stuff with my children because I have lost so many years with my 4 years old. She has been in and out of someone home for 4 years, and she is 4 years old, and that is not fair to her. So
Wow.
this is where I am now. I've been going on through faith. I've been going live on Facebook, sharing my story as a way to educate on the Black community, as a way to educate men, as a way to educate women. Because I had a friend who she's a Black, and she called me in February and told me, I've been watching your story. Can you please send me some encouraging video and pictures? Because my cousin has been diagnosed with breast cancer. She do not want to go to the hospital. She's so depressed. I want to encourage her. But little did I know that cousin was her. It was not her cousin.
Oh,
And she did not go to the hospital. She stayed home for 5 months later, she passed away. So I do not want people going through that. I do not want people feeling the body image, the change that your body have to go through has to stop you from going and getting treated. When you go and get treated on a regular basis, it can save you. God just saved me, although I was stage 3, but it is very good to get treated and get detected early in your early stage, like stage 1, for them to catch it soon. So it is my encouragement every day when I'm on Facebook. I'm sharing the words. I have been on the news. I have been educating people. I have been just going out and doing stuff. I have been with the Living Beyond Breast Cancer women. I navigate for them, and I've just been involved with a lot of things to reach out to as many people there is, to let them know to go and get tested, and do not stay silent, because that is what we do in the Black community. We stay silent because we're silent. We do not get any education from someone else that has fought the battle, and we do not get any encouragement to go on. So silent kills a lot of us. Silent kill a lot of people.
That is
So
so true, Olivia. And
um
wow,
yeah.
what I mean, your story is just mind boggling. You know, it's the things that you've been through, the things all of you ladies have been through. You know, but one similarity I see with the three of you ladies is that your faith. Your faith is so strong that it was able to carry you through, and it is still carrying you through.
Yes.
You know, so the lesson we want from here today is that, you know, although cancer, that C word, is very scary,
Mhm.
you know, but we want you to get tested. And also,
Yes.
there's something else the three of you said, is that when you felt something was wrong, you seeked help. You went and you went to your doctor.
Yeah.
And that is very, very, very important. Don't sweep it under the rug.
Mhm.
You know, it's not going to change. It's not going to go away.
No.
You have to get help,
Yeah.
and you have to get screened. You have to go to the doctor to get your regular checkup,
Mhm.
because that can save your life. Even
Yeah.
though you had stage 3B,
Mhm.
you know, which is way advanced,
Yeah.
but they were able to do a double mastectomy, and you said that it was your choice, you know, to have the right breast removed, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, you know, that there's options.
Yeah.
There is options.
There is option, because most cancer in the Black community, it has a very high surviving rate. That is what a lot of people do not know. They feel that when they get the word cancer, they're about to die. But no, when you seek medical help, you are not going to die, because breast cancer has a higher survival rate than any other
Yes,
cancer.
So
yes,
true.
yes.
So
And
true.
most
That
breast
is so
cancer
true.
is not genetic. So most people don't need to think like me, because I was naive. I thought it's not in my family, so I don't have it. No, it is not genetic. You just need to go and get tested, and do not still silence.
Please.
Yes.
Olivia, is it okay if I put your number on the screen for the viewers to be able to take your number, contact you, and be a blessing to you if they want to?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much. I would really appreciate that. I would really appreciate it so much.
So, viewers, tonight you've had the opportunity to walk partially in the shoes of these three beautiful women, hearing their story. Cancer is real, and it doesn't have no age gap. It can come for any and everybody. Our world around us has changed. Our food has changed. Everything around us is polluted anymore. And cancer, we told you last Friday, is on a cellular level.
Yeah.
So please do not be naive. Go get screened. Check yourself. Don't overlook nothing. When you take a shower, do your breast exam. If
Mm-hmm.
you're a man, check your scrotum. Check for
Yeah.
anything that look like it ain't supposed to be there. Don't do Liberia thing. Oh, let me just take Tylenol. Let me just
Yeah.
go sleep. When I wake up, it will be all right.
Mm-hmm.
No. Our
Oh,
word.
let me just pray. Let me just pray and leave it up to God. No, God
Mhm.
did not tell us to be naive. God did not. God said in His Word, a lot of His people die of lack of wisdom and understanding.
Yes.
Because a lot of people feel when they're Christian, they just need to pray about it. There are something that God isn't going to come down to tell you. Do not be naive about. God said, yes, pray. But even though you are praying, you still need to go get to those doctors because God placed those doctors here for us, for the purpose of saving us. He gave them the knowledge to get us through what we need to get through physically here with Him and then connect with God, and God will do the rest.
So true. At
Mhm.
this time, we will open the lines for those who want to call in to be a part of this show tonight. It has been so interesting. Sister Gloria, Sister Vicky, and Sis Olivia, you women are powerhouse.
Yes.
Okay, tell God
Thank
is
you.
fabulous,
God is,
man.
yes.
And
Yes.
I mean, you're doing this thing like, are they kidding? Are they joking? No, you're so real. And you have been a blessing to us tonight. Because I'm sitting here, what's running to my mind? I've been telling myself I'm supposed to go do my mammogram. I did it 3 years ago, and I keep telling myself I will, but I will go do it. And can you imagine? I'm the nurse, but I'm like I will. That old Liberia mentality is stuck somewhere in my mind.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies, for coming here tonight and sharing the light. A lot of people need to hear this.
Yes.
Because look, it easy to think it can happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right. It's
it
true.
can happen to any
can
of
happen to
us.
Anybody. Yeah.
And it's not in your, like, I did the ancestor to check to see if I had it on either side of my family. I don't
Mm.
have cancer on my mother's side or my
Mm-mm.
father's side. And I went generations because I needed to know, how did this happen to me? Because
Yeah.
that, who am I? Because I don't really know, how all that worked. So I
Yeah.
checked, and I have no family members with no anything with cancer. So I did do the genetic test to test that if I was a genetic carrier, and I'm not. So my
Mm-hmm.
daughter wouldn't have to take. She can go and get her mammogram at 40 instead of 30 because
Mm-hmm.
it was new to me. It was new when my family found out. My aunts, my mom's sisters, we don't have cancer in our family. Cancer
Yeah, that's a cycle we need to
it
break.
doesn't have a shield. It could be anybody.
No,
No,
it
it
can
doesn't.
be
It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have a
yes.
face. And you know, Vicky, you said something. Your cancer was stage 1, which is early,
Yes.
but your doctor said that had you waited,
Yes.
for a
Yes.
couple of months, it
It
would
would
have gone into the because it would have gone into the lymph node.
And once it
Mm-hmm.
And
hit the
once it
lymph
hits
node, the
the lymph
spread
node,
is
yes,
fast. Yep.
Yeah.
it's that the lymph node is a little bean-shaped structure that's in our body. It's all through our body. I mean, we have
Yes.
hundreds of lymph nodes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a powerhouse. What it does is it filters out foreign substances like
Yeah.
infectious substances out of the body.
Yes.
It works with it's the powerhouse of the immune system.
Yeah. The white
So
blood cells.
we're so
Mm-hmm.
glad that it did not go into the lymph nodes, because had it been there, then it would have been, a
Yep.
different story.
So true.
Yeah. Yeah. They had to remove all of the lymph nodes in my left arm because it was affected. So my left arm cannot be used for any blood pressure or anything
No.
because I
Yep.
had everything removed out
Mhm.
of there. Yeah, so like I'm trying to see her name, Vicky. Like
Yeah.
Vicky was saying, she did a genetic testing, and I did the genetic testing, and that is the cycle we have to break. Thinking that it have to be in our family.
Yeah.
It's not in our family, so I don't have it. So it's voodoo. So they're lying because it's not. I don't have cancer. Cancer is not in my family. Oh, those doctors want to eat money. They want to experiment on me. They don't know what they're talking about. And those are all the things that we hear. And that is the
Yep.
cycle we have to break to know that it is not genetic. We need to focus on getting tested early. And we need to
Early.
focus on letting our people know that most cancer in women, Black women, is not genetic.
Nope.
It
It's
is not
not.
genetic.
And I've
It's
talked
in
to
the
Yes.
several.
food, it's in the supermarket, it's in the
Yes.
drinks, it's in the
Mm-hmm.
air. So it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere.
It is.
Yeah, because
And
I
Yes.
talked to one of my
And every year a woman will be affected with breast cancer.
oh yeah.
I was
Every
talking to
year.
her dear friends, and she's like, I haven't had a mammogram since 2009. And I was like, why? And she says, well, they found something and they told me to come back.
So she never went back.
But that is coming. That is coming. It's the fear. The
It's the
fear of the
fear.
unknown.
And she still hasn't gone.
So
And she said she
sometimes
still
you
keep
feel
feeling
like it's going to go away.
it doesn't go
You know, out of
away.
sight, out of mind, but it doesn't work that way.
No.
You know? And I just want to shed light on something that Sis Gloria said as well about her having multiple myeloma. You know, multiple myeloma is a rare type of cancer of the blood. It's of the plasma cell. Okay. But what's peculiar about multiple myeloma is that it is very common in the African American population, in the Black population, than any other race. Yes, it's very, very common in our population.
Wow.
Yes.
Learned
The
so much.
reality of where we at. Yep.
It's new to me. I'm 6 months out. So I'm learning through these ladies and I'm learning so much because I was so unaware and so uneducated. And it's funny when you say that when I say that I'm uneducated with a degree, but I'm so uneducated when it comes to learning your body, knowing, you know, the cancer just you don't see it. Like,
Nope.
I didn't feel anything. I didn't have any symptoms. I did the breasts. I taught my daughter how to do it, and they tell me that I have it, but I was told I can see it. I told I was supposed to feel sick.
Yeah.
I'm still don't feel sick.
It's like I didn't feel no lump, so all is well, you know.
Yeah.
And look, I'm telling you, everything that we ever heard about is on a genetic mutation. Even the cancer cells are on genetic mutation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now everything is on a different level. Nothing is what it is. But we know one thing that is constant. Thank God is fabulous. I'm telling you.
That's the moral of this show. You know, no
Yes.
matter what you go through, in everything, give the Lord praise. Need it be
Yep.
good or bad. He
Yep.
said, give me the praise and I will take care of the rest.
Yes.
he showed
So
you.
ladies,
He
we just
showed
want to thank you all for coming on and sharing your stories. At least we put a face to the story, you know,
Yes.
and people because people can relate. You know, I don't think there was one dry eye when you guys were explaining.
Yep. Yep.
You know, it's scary. You can have anxiety. You know, the fear of the unknown. Am I going to live? Am I going to die? If you have children, you know what's going to happen to your children. You know, that loneliness. You know, when I was talking to Olivia last night, she said this last time when she fell and hit her head, because she has such a phobia and anxiety about going to the hospital because of her ordeal, she did not want to call to go to the hospital because of that fear, knowing that when you go there, you know, bad things can happen. But thank God that she pushed through it and she went.
Yep. Yep. We just got to push the awareness out there to give every woman a chance to go and just go check
Every woman and
anything.
man.
Check anything.
Yeah.
Anybody, go check. Don't say, oh, this person is 3 years old, I ain't going to worry. No, it don't have a number. It take anything in its path.
Yeah.
Because we are living in this world. We are breathing the air. We are eating the food. Everything has been messed up anymore. You know, somebody told me today, they said, you know, certain group of people sitting at the top is trying to eliminate the rest of the people. I said they're sure working hard because everything around is messed up anymore. You know, nothing is nothing. From the day I started to see seedless watermelon, I knew we were done. Okay? So that's the first thing. Draw that little line and put some black dots on the red thing. You know that's watermelon. But watermelon don't have no seed no more. No. They come yellow, they come green. Oh no, you know we done.
Yeah.
The chickens now. Today the chicken can hatch and have a baby. The baby get hatched and have a baby. Look at the family that don't have lesbian, they just going on and populating. So that's our world.
Yeah.
and they're not stopping. They're not changing anything.
Yeah.
They,
The
they,
food is the food it plays a big part
yes.
because a lot of us need to watch, especially the sugar. Sugar contract it cause cancer. It
Oh,
just
cancer
cause
love
cancer.
that sugar.
It love cancer loves sugar. So as much as possible, you love your sweet, but when you train your taste bud to not like sugar, you will love what you train your taste bud not to like.
That
So
is true.
the sugar and red meat.
Yes.
Red meat is oh yes. Oh, red meat. Stay away from red meat. Stay away from sugar as best as possible, and we should try to do a lot of the food that helps to prevent cancer, like the kale, the beets, ginger, and lemon can fight cancer. This is a slightly different thing and something that a lot of people overlook. But if you drink a lime and have a lot of vitamin C, you are going to be fine. You are going to be fine. So the food is very important for us to pay attention to those food, because in the black community we tend to eat anything and everything, especially when we're having a cookout.
Especially
We
God
just
made
eat.
it too. And
Oh
now,
yeah, we just eat anything, and we
yeah,
don't mind when, especially when you have that cornbread, they have a whole lot of sugar in it. Everything we put sugar in it, so it's yeah. So the food plays a big role.
a very big role. And that's
Yeah,
if they can't get us because we're thinking on a higher level, they say, okay, your stomach will never let you down. You have to
yeah.
put something in there. And they just go in the background and give all this poisonous food. And they
Mm-hmm.
sit back and watch. We're gonna see what
Yeah.
will happen now. So please take care of yourself. The lines are open if you want to call in and be a part of the show. Olivia number is running across the screen. If you want to be a blessing to her, go right ahead. It doesn't hurt nothing. We are sisters in Christ.
Yes.
We come to each other aid.
Yes.
You
We
know.
are sisters in Christ. That is one of my big thing. I always tell people when I'm doing my life. I say, especially in the black community, we like to wait for someone to die before we contribute to that person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when the person dead, they cannot tell you thank you. They
No.
cannot appreciate it. They do not know what you did for them. So you are doing it for your own self and not the person. So it is better to be there as a support morally. You can call someone. It is so important. Your presence is so important. Your conversation, your communication is so important to someone that is battling cancer, because someone that is battling cancer feels alone most of the time. Depression is very high when you are battling cancer. So the more you keep away from that person and you feel you're so scared, the more difficult it is for that person, the harder it is for them to recover mentally. So this is what a lot of people need to know, that when someone is fighting something, it don't need to be your money, because your money will only go a length, but your presence and your time will go a long way.
Oh,
So
you said it
we it don't
good.
need to be your money. You don't need to come visit them and bring money to them. You can come visit them and just come and give them a words of encouragement. That
Yes.
is all.
So true.
I would like
Well,
to thank
this
you
show,
guys.
if you get a chance, we ain't going nowhere tonight because this is it. But some people have to go to bed and now they're getting mad. Like, why
Yeah.
y'all still want the show for another day? No. Tonight was the night, and this show is going to continuously play. As long as it's recorded live, you can always go back and listen to these beautiful ladies and learn something. Don't just learn it for the gossip, learn it to apply it.
Yeah.
Please, I am begging us. I'm going to do my mammogram. I swear. I'm going to,
Well, thank you for inviting me and having me on your panel. And if you
Yes.
ever need anything in person or Zoom, I'm more than well, because I am a person that it happened to me, and I'm that person. It's not going to happen to me because I don't eat red meat. I'm not a sweet eater. I work
Mhm.
out 4 to 5 times a week. I mean, only thing I do that I can say is bad is I'm a coffee drinker, and I drink it faithfully every day. But I drink it black. So if you ever need me for anything, just please reach out. Please reach
Thank you
out.
so much, Sis
Thank you,
Vicky. We
ladies.
appreciate you. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Sis Olivia, we appreciate you. Sis Gloria. Look, you women are powerhouse, okay? Ain't
Yes,
nobody can say.
you guys
Even
are
the devil
super.
right now, he's confused. He like, huh?
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Are they
He's
on
so
that show
confused.
talking that hey, guy is fabulous? What's fabulous? That's
Yes.
why he doesn't know.
Because
No.
God works. God is real, and the devil get confused when he
Yeah.
see someone that should be sad but happy. He wonder,
Yep.
what am I doing wrong?
Yep. And Olivia, it look like you just on his bad side. He be like, she's starting again. Let me see.
Yeah.
Where am I gonna put it next time?
Oh, the devil doesn't like me because he has given me so much hit. He keep hitting me left and right. And he said, what's wrong with this lady? Can she fall?
Yeah. Oh, but you just don't know your old man got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, ladies.
Your
Thank
faith,
you so
your-
much.
Thank you.
Your
Thank you
faith,
so
your
much.
trust, your confidence in God.
Yes.
That what carries you. Yeah, you know, it carry you. Once you trust him and believe in him. When I was going through my ordeal, there's a song. It has so many artists now, but it's called "You Are My Strength," and that song,
Yeah.
that song was my morning, afternoon, night. That song really took me through. You are my strength when
Mhm.
my strength when
When
there's
I
no
am weak.
other.
Yes.
That
yes.
song is a song that resonates in your heart. If you just listen, you sit and you listen to it,
Mhm.
it calms you. It
Yeah.
strengthens you. I mean, it's so meaningful. It became a meaningful song to me. That I played it every day. I'll listen to it
Yes.
every day. And she was saying about your appetite with sugar, and I don't know, maybe since mine was a different type of cancer, but I didn't care for sugar. I didn't care for meat. At one point, in fact, my appetite, I don't even know, even right now, I don't even know where it is. Because at one point, I fell in love with fish, and then I turned against it. At one point, I only wanted to eat, the soft bone, where you can chew the
Yeah.
marrow out of.
The marrow.
I turned against it. So my only thing was acidic fruits and stuff. Like I would take the green mango, I would take the green apple, I would take the lime, I would take, just add some a little bit of salt to it, and especially the mango. What we used to do, those of us who come from Liberia, where we used to do that, the green mango with the salt and the pepper and
then your mom would say, Lola, you pregnant.
yeah. Your mom would say, what you eating that thing for? Lola, you pregnant. You pregnant. In fact, who said it looked like you pregnant? That's what you eating that thing for. Yeah. So
That is so funny.
yeah, mine was the ice, just chew on ice and eat acidic things. That was me. That was the kind of food. That was my kind of food. I really didn't care about food because food had no taste to me. It had no,
Yeah.
I mean, even when I used to cook, it was difficult for me to cook because when you're cooking, you taste the food to know what it is. So when I cook, I don't know, I tell them that, okay, if it too salty, okay, well, sorry. If it no salt, well, sorry. But I didn't, I would cook and I don't even care for the food. Even now, my appetite is like seesaw, like up and down. I don't, today I might crave
And
one
trust
thing.
me, I've tasted this woman's food. It is no joke, okay? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
Time is fast spent. We just want to say thank you for coming on. I mean, all of your stories, it is self-explanatory. We didn't even have to go into questions because you guys, you ladies just said everything we needed to hear. And I hope this show, even if it saved one life, that's a life saved.
Yes.
So we want to say thank you for coming on. And thank you to our viewers for staying on, although we went past time. But this is such an important topic that, we couldn't have rushed it.
And Olivia, somebody on the screen said they're going to contact you tomorrow. His name is Robert Carey. So, hey, we put your name on the line so you will be getting calls. If telemarketer call, tell them, say, if
I'm looking for money, don't ask me for money.
That's all. All right, ladies. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Continue to be a blessing.
Thank you.
Continue to be the strength that God has made you. He never gives
Thank
you
you.
more than you can carry.
Not at all.
No.
And he always has a purpose and a season for you. So if
Mhm.
you are in this season, it is yours. It
Yeah.
is your time to shine.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what you're going through.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what you have been through.
Yeah.
God is fabulous.
Yeah,
Yes.
he is.
God
Have a
is
good
faithful. He's always come through.
Oh, yeah.
That is the most fabulous thing about God because he always come through.
That's
Yes.
right. Yes.
Always on
Thank
time.
you, ladies, for having me.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you so
you
much.
so much.
Now we know the platform, so we
Yes.
will be listening in.
Please
If
share.
not every week, but we will be. I will be listening in. So
Me too.
That's
thank you
good. That's
for
good.
inviting
You can
us.
always come and participate. We want to have so many different topics that appeal to us as women and men. Just
Mhm.
the everyday thing that people not really talking about.
Yeah.
We want to talk about it. We want to
Like
share.
mental health.
Yes.
Mental health.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's another thing. That's one of
Yes.
the main
That's a
topics.
big one right
Big
there.
topic. Yeah, that.
Mhm.
Yes. A
Yeah.
very big topic.
They're gonna
You
go
know?
like maybe three discussions or more.
Yes.
Because a lot of
Especially
people don't
in the
believe
black,
it.
in the black community.
No.
Yeah.
They don't believe
And
it.
in the African community, because
Right.
you know we are looked at as this strong community, you know, and so depression, mental health, it doesn't happen to us, or
No,
if it
no,
does,
no.
we
Yeah.
sweep it under
That's
the
what we
rug.
think,
Yep.
but
You
it
know,
sure
and
does.
we bottle it and bottle it and bottle it until the cup is full, and then you explode.
Explode. Yeah.
Mhm.
If you talk about it and they find out that somebody in your family has it, you nobody want to deal with you. Cause
Right.
you're crazy.
Yeah.
That is
When
so many
you crazy.
have
You
that.
crazy. That's the word they use. You
Yes.
crazy.
You're crazy.
When you have mental problem and you need counseling, you crazy.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one is cool. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why people don't come out to get help. Because nobody wants to be labeled. Nobody wants people
Yeah.
to stigmatize against them. But we have
Exactly.
to break those barriers. We have to talk about it. We
Mhm.
have to create the awareness so
Yeah.
that we can help ourselves.
And
Exactly.
Because you know,
one
there ain't
thing
nobody
that,
trying to
that
help us.
Olivia said that we need to shed light on, that when she was going through her ordeal, the last one, you know, she thought about suicide.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone that is watching this show or will come across and watch this show, if you are thinking about suicide, there is help.
Yeah.
Please
There is.
help.
Mhm.
Yes.
Please talk to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
not a
Yes.
good feeling to feel like you want to kill yourself. So when it happens, don't overlook it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Say, oh, hi, just feeling today. No.
Yeah.
Talk to
The
someone.
National on Suicide Hotline is always open 24/7.
Yeah.
You can always reach someone. Someone is always there to talk to you. And because suicide and depression is real.
It is. And
And
if you're
it
in
walks hand in
Liberia
hand.
and you're watching this show, we don't have suicide precaution there. But I tell you, if you feel that way, go
Talk
to the
to
pastor,
someone, yes.
talk to
Yeah.
your cousin, talk to your sister, talk to
Mhm.
somebody. Please do not be like, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want people to talk about me. Please don't let it under the rug. Okay. Thank you, ladies. Have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
God
Thank you.
is
Thank you.
fabulous.
Yes, he
Thank you.
is.
Yes, thank God it's fabulous. Yeah.
All
Thank you so
right.
much.
All
Have a
right.
good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay. Bye.
Good night.